There we go.
Now we're on the right page.
On the right page. Hey everybody, we're To Love Is Family. I am Declan, and this is my beloved wife, Suzanne DeWitt Paul. And happy Friday. You want to tell them what we're going to talk about today?
Yes. So today we're going to talk about fear and the power of other people's opinions, how those two things kind of work together to create powerlessness. Yeah. Go. I'll shoot. So this, we started thinking about this because of something happened this week where we encountered a person who felt driven to tell us, it was a guy, which isn't surprising, cishet white guy, who decided to tell us his opinions about our queerness. That, there was a little speech about everybody should be who they want to be and just, be who you are. But I disagree. That was the phrase. I disagree. And so that got us thinking a lot about the power of opinions, other people's opinions. And it hit me very strongly that his opinion did not matter to the situation whatsoever. It doesn't matter to the reality of who I am, the reality of who you are, the reality of who you are. We are the people that we are, regardless of what other people think about us.
Well, who better knows who you are than you?
Sorry, scoot over a little closer.
So we have this person trying to invalidate who I am, and they have no right. They don't know who I am.
And it's not even just that they don't know. It also their opinion. Other people's opinions about you have tremendous power. We give them tremendous power.
True.
And a lot of time that comes from fear. We're afraid of disappointing people. We're afraid of angering people. We're afraid of alienation from people. We're afraid of other people talking about us. So we give over all this power to other people because of what we're worried about what they think.
Right.
And in reality, his opinion matters zero to the state of the world. Other people's opinions about who you are really are meaningless. Can they hurt you? Yes. Can people's actions who have biases create harm and create bad policies and create social injustice and all those things? Yes. But the opinions themselves, I think we allow people to have a little bit too much power.
We can't give them power over us.
And that kind of led us to this topic of fear. And we've got a book recommendation for you. It's Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And she talks about fear. She talks about, the book is about the creative process. And Declan recommended it for me. You heard it on that podcast. And so I started reading it. Haven't gotten very far, but it's really, really good stuff for everyone. And her point is that everyone has the capability. Everyone has innate creativity that manifests different ways.
Right.
For me, I'm a writer. For you, you're a comedian, a lover, an encourager, all manner of things. An idea generator. She mentioned a friend who had figure skated when she was a child and was in her 40s and decided to go back to figure skating, and that fed her soul. And she almost didn't because she was afraid of what people would think because, once you reach a certain age, you don't take figure skating classes typically. And so she was talking about how each of us has this inner creativity that gets damped down by fear. And she talked about how fearful she has always been and the way she ended up coping with it and being able to step into her own tremendous creativity because she's the author of Eat, Pray, Love and other, a number of other books. But the way she has managed to accommodate it is that she almost deals with fear as an entity or a person. And she knows that fear is always going to be there. And instead of fighting it, ignoring it, just trying to push it down, she says, okay, fear, I know you're here. You're going to be coming along with me on this trip, on this road, but you're not going to have decision-making capability. I'm going to have decision-making capability. My ideas and that sort of generative creative force within me, we together are going to make decisions about life. And fear, you just have to be there and be quiet, you know. So I thought that was a really good way to look at it because, you know, as a trans person and as, you know, a queer couple, you guys know there can be a lot of fear, and we have to be really smart.
Well, I think there's a difference between fear and bravery. And I think that fear, you've got to have a little bit of bravery and a little bit of fear, but fear cannot overwhelm you.
Yeah.
It can't be something that tamps down your spirit and makes you depressed, but it can be something that gives you wisdom. Like you don't go into the frying pan if you don't want to get burned. I mean, there's certain places as LGBTQI people we just don't go to and we don't make ourselves known because they're dangerous.
Yeah.
But if that
still have to be
fear
smart.
makes you afraid when you're in a safe place, you know, with people who love you and support you, that's when it's taking over.
Or if the fear of all those things, because there are, you know, fear is healthy. It's a protective mechanism.
Right.
It's a, you know, it's a useful evolutionary trait. But for a lot of us, it stops us from living fully authentic lives. You know,
Right.
for you, the fear of hurting what other people's opinions are going to be sometimes is enough to make you just freeze up and say, we
can like is that Mia down there said fear is different from being wary or aware. Yes, very much so. You know, one of the things I said on Twitter today was that I am not fearful or afraid of transitioning. I am afraid of society. So I have to gauge what I do and who I'm around by that. And I think it's healthy to a point. I just got to let it not become unhealthy and overwhelming to me. I think that our community faces fear everywhere. It's something we have to face and we have to deal with.
And I think, you know, with a bit of practice, perhaps we can do a better job of analyzing what the fear is. If it's of other people's opinions, you know, we take one course of action and we might be able to just dismiss it and say, okay, I hear you. You're there. I hear you, but I'm still making
sometimes
decision.
these toxic people, you can't be around them. I mean, if it's pulling you down, it's making you uncomfortable. Toxic people should be something that you walk away from and you walk into more healthy relationships. You have to find your tribe. You have to find some place where you feel safe and you can blossom into the all of who you are.
And that goes for anything, whether it's your sexual orientation, whether it's your gender identity, whether it's the dreams you've always had about something silly you want to do with your life, what feels silly to you, but you're afraid of what people might think. Whatever it is, try to just acknowledge that fear and then say, you're not going to control me.
Right. So we've got to be safe and we've got to be aware of what's going on, but we don't want to be full of fear. Fear stops you from being the all of who you can be.
So go be you. That's what we, that's the premise. Isn't it? It's the central premise is, be love and be you. Okay? Because you're beautiful.
You're beautiful. We love you all. Have a great week
animals.
and weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.
Take care. Be careful out there and limit the fireworks use, please. Rumble Pimple's having a fit.
He is.